The chances of you and your family being in a city when disaster strikes is pretty high, which is exactly why you should be following an urban survival guide to help you get prepared. Most survivalists will tell you to get out of your city as soon as disaster hits, but for many of us, that just isn't possible. For example, the roads might be closed or impassable, you might have nowhere to go, or you don't want to leave someone behind. Whatever the reason, an urban survival guide is your best source for helping you get through tough times. Modern living has made us all come to expect food at the grocery, clean water to come from our faucets, and abundant energy to power our lives. What if all that was suddenly taken away? Would you be able to carry on? Advantages of urban survival. Roughing it on your own might sound glorious and exciting, but pulling your resources together with other people is one advantage urban survival has. While you may be fully prepared for the worst, you may have to flee your safe place, and grouping with others may be your best option. In your preparations, take note of who you think would be a beneficial ally if disaster should occur. In the wilderness, resources are scarce, and you have to rely on what you brought with you and what you can find and use. Most of us are used to living with the conveniences of electricity, water, and shelter. While electricity and water may not be completely accessible if a disaster hits, you still have a higher chance of making use of appliances and gadgets by running a generator, and your chances of finding water is higher as well. Disadvantages of urban survival. Just like the movies, survival in the city could be scary. Resources are scarce, people are desperate, and you need to keep you and your family safe. Many survivalists recommend fleeing the city as quickly as possible because cities are prime targets for terrorist attacks. Disease and illness spreads more rapidly. Higher populations of gangs and criminals. Most people in cities don't know how to prepare or fend for themselves. Most grocery stores only supply enough fresh food to last about 3 days. I remember once, back in 2008, there was a damaging windstorm in our area that knocked the power out for nearly 2 weeks. Within a few hours, grocery stores were wiped out of ice, produce, and meat. I can only imagine what that scene would be like in the event of economic collapse or war. This advice shouldn't come as any surprise, but you should be keeping your survival preparations a secret to most people. Just like money issues can ruin just about any relationship, think about how tense things can get with a food shortage. Stay modest, and don't discuss details with neighbors and acquaintances. Recommended urban survival guides. Several survivalists have put together comprehensive urban survival guides to help you and your family get prepared for the worst-case scenario. Surviving Doomsday, a guide for surviving an urban disaster by Duarte. One of the best urban survival guides written so far. This book gives you a step-by-step guide to help you prepare for survival during an urban disaster, with strategies to help you secure your core survival items, tactics to keep you and your family stay safe during a crisis, and an extensive shopping lists for survival products and supplies. Writing from his first-hand experience in 1992's Hurricane Andrew, Duarte was inspired by his lack of preparation that almost got him and his family killed in the hurricane. After this, Duarte began making copious notes on survival methods and supplies, which ultimately became the book. 2000 to 2002 was a turbulent time for Argentina, with a devastating economic collapse causing widespread unemployment, riots, murder, default on the country's debt, and ultimately, the fall of the government. Citizens were unable to withdraw money from their bank accounts, ATMs were deactivated, and cash became king. While the country eventually recovered, it gave a scary glimpse as to what could happen. The Modern Survival Manual, Surviving the Economic Collapse by Fernando Aguirre. This has become a classic urban survival guide. Aguirre and his family made it through the tough times in Argentina with his preparedness and urban survival tactics. His book lays out detailed plans on how to prepare your finances, how to prepare your supplies for food shortages and power failures, how to defend yourself through whatever means necessary, a chair, gun, knife, pen or bare hands, and most importantly, how to reach a level of awareness so that you can avoid having to do all that in the first place. Tappan on Survival by Tappan. Tappan is highly regarded in survivalist culture, with many calling him the father of modern survival tactics. His comprehensive urban survival guide includes a survival checklist, food storage checklist, a guide on weapons and communications, a section on retreating from the urban setting, and just an overall guide on how to be prepared for the worst. Learn more. 2 books on the best survival and similar solutions in the description of the video. Thank you for watching.